So my name's Adam Schaller, Vice President of Lakeshore Die Cast, family-run aluminum and zinc die casting business for about the last 40 years or so. The picture you can see here is actually an overhead of our shop with Lake Michigan in the background. We're in Berrien County, about 5 miles off the lake. And if I zoom in, hold on, I'm gonna get back a little bit here. I think I can. No, it won't let me in this, but so out back is the 1.25 megawatt array. And then on the south side of the building here is the 150 kilowatt. 150 kilowatts, about 496 panels, and this one's 3780. So I'm going to kind of present this with how I got to installing such large systems and why I decided to do that as a business. So I gave you a little bit about the arrays on the first slide, but I'm going to kind of break that down and then show combined performance, a couple of site pictures, and then questions. So the reason why I ended up looking into solar to start with is over the past decade or so, our power usage at Lakeshore Die Cast has gone up by about 2x. So we started using about 30,000 kilowatts per month and then ended up north of 60,000 kilowatts. Power costs in Michigan have gone up about 3% per year for the last 30 years. And like everybody else on the call said, it's unlikely they are going to start decreasing now. So over this time period where we about doubled our electrical usage, we about tripled our power costs. And as trying to be a good business owner and keeping costs down, I started looking into ways to do this. And so in 2019, I kind of happened upon solar as a way to reduce tax burden and also lower electric bills. So I kind of started planning to see how big of an array I could build, and there kind of be rules for it that I could follow. So in Michigan, at least previously, and even now, 150 kilowatts is the largest system you can build in the DG system. So that's kind of what I chose for my test case at my business, because even though my usage was more like something that a 800 or 900 kilowatt system could produce, I couldn't get a good tariff rate for anything over 150. And so I thought it was kind of a prudent investment to try with a smaller size to kind of see what would happen. On the graph shown here, you can see when we installed the solar installation one, and then even after that, our power usage was still high. So our shop grew and we used more power. And then solar installation two is the 1.25 megawatt. You can see the blue measured hours by the utility drop precipitously. And then the orange is my measured usage afterwards. So we're still using about the same amount of power we were before, but the utility is measuring much less because of the behind the meter. So what I try to do when I sized our solar projects is get me something that would get me close to cash flow neutral, but provide an asset and a tax break. So what I really wanted was to try to get the loan financing for this, for the big project, equal to what my cost of power was before per month. And before, my cost of power around when I installed the solar installations was anywhere between $8,000 and $11,000 a month. Now I actually sell power. So unlike, well, the distributed generation tariff only works up to 150 kilowatts. Beyond that, if you want to build a bigger array, you have to have a custom agreement with the utility, in my case, I&M, and you have to be under the Public Utilities Regulatory Act and have what's called a PERC agreement. So I actually do sell power to the utility at wholesale rate when I'm not using it, but that means I actually get a check from the utility every month. So that's why at the end of this chart, there's actually negative cost for power, because in the summer months, the utility is actually paying me more than I'm paying them for power. So this is just kind of what I was talking about already. In addition to the investment tax credit, which is the incentive on the first one that I talked about, for the smaller array, I applied for a USDA grant, REAP award, and got that, which helped to pay back further on my first 150 kilowatt array. So on my 150 kilowatt array, the payback period is about 5.5 years. To date, that's about how much it's paid back, 344,000. Array performance was within 0.5% of what PV watts the NREL calculator said it would be. And I haven't really lost more than about 0.5% efficiency since I started that one. This is generation over the course of the year since I installed it, since October 2020. Each different color is a different year. You can see pretty routine performance and not much drop off in the last 3 years since I've been running it. This array is Canadian Solar monofacial panels, 390 watts a piece. The bigger project, I did not get a REAP grant on this one, but I did get the investment tax credit. This one, payback period is a little longer because of the lack of REAP grant, but still to date, in the year and 3 months it's been up, it's already paid back about $1 million on a $2.5 million investment. This is performance per month on the larger array. Year over year, it hasn't really lost anything. The bifacial panels are performing better than expected compared to the monofacial panels on the first array. This is just a view of my monitoring software and how much power I've made over the year versus what my shop uses. The green is, and it's condensed. I'll show you on the next slide a little bit more of my daily shop ramp versus my daily solar ramp. But you can see I'm actually generating 2.3 gigawatts a year, and I'm using about 556 megawatt hours per year. So the only reason that I can get away with generating much more than I use is because I have a PERPA contract, and it's what's considered a qualified facility. So if you build it and claim it as a qualified facility, you can build it as big as you want, but you won't be able to enroll in the DG tariff or preferential treatment. You have to sell outflow at wholesale. This is what my metering looks like on a normal shop day. So this is a Sunday. On Sunday, we light furnaces for our foundry, a little bit more power, run blower motors, because we do still use natural gas to melt stuff. Someone left a compressor on here so you could see the compressor run. Shift starts about 5 a.m., power comes up, foundry runs, solar array comes on, makes way more than the foundry uses. So all day I'm die casting, with sunlight, which is pretty cool. So we run a lot of 50 and 100 horsepower motors at our shop and move a lot of big stuff. So it's neat to have people in the plant and show them that we're running everything, from solar panels in the field. This is just a little bit of on the ground sizing of the picture. This is me on top of our back of our large die casting department. The larger 1.25 megawatt array is about 6 acres. This is another view of it just after the grass grew back. This is what the main disconnects and power service look like. My main shop is on 480 volt. The transformers are 3000 amp. I have medium voltage coming in. And then these are the 10 inverters from the 1.25 megawatt that turn it into 480 volt for shop power. And that's the end of my presentation. So any questions?
Thank you, Adam. Yeah, why don't you stop screen sharing, and we'll have time for a few questions, and probably time for questions at the end too.
Yeah, let me see.
We have any questions? Go ahead, Clayton.
Hi, good presentation. My question is, what manufacturer inverters are you using?
SMA. And
SMA.
SMA on the larger one. I have 10 125 kilowatt inverters on the large one, and then on the smaller one, I'm using Canadian Solar.
Okay. And how many do you have on that?
3. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead, Dale.
Yeah, great presentation. I think you mentioned you're using bifacial panels. How does that work if one side's facing the ground? I just don't understand it.
So they capture diffuse light. So if you think about, how your eyes work, where you see color because, light is coming off every surface, the panels absorb, the ambient light that bounces off the, the land basically. And so in the wintertime when it's snowy or when you have an overcast day and you're not getting direct sunlight, but there's still, light to illuminate, the panels are capturing that.
Great. But do you know about how much additional power that gives you with the bifacial?
I think it's something on the order of 10 or 15%. So it's pretty good.
Yeah, thank you.
Just a question in chat.
Go ahead, Cliff.
Yeah, so just a point of clarification. I mean, with our household, I thought I was doing pretty well to pay off our initial investment in 10 years. Did I get that right? Yours are going to pay for themselves in less than 5?
Yeah. So part of that is because the economy of scale drives the price per kilowatt hour down. So if you build a big project and you get good incentives, the payback is really fast. So the first project, I got a REAP grant for 25% of the project cost. And then I had a 30% of the project cost investment tax credit. So 55% of it was essentially paid, if you're thinking about a simple payback, up front. And then my cost per DC watt, I think on my first one was about like 1.75 or something. So that's what drove the payback down further.